things that would go around you. Stay focused. And by the special grace of God, this is just the beginning for you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sanisabu, for this great information and advice to our young beneficiaries. I think it's high time then we formally kickstart this discussion today. I would like to call on the chairman to give us a brief remark, which probably is going to be an addition to what Dr. Sanisabu has already said. Mr. Chairman, Dr. Engineer Ali Udala.
Thank you for giving me the floor. I mean, thanks. Dr. Sanisabu has almost capped everything that I'm supposed to say, and he did it brilliantly. I mean, sometimes it's there's like a verse, right, in the Quran that said how many much a times the few can overcome the many. If I push that towards a more militaristic kind of methodology in thinking, is Napoleon talking about like 10 people make more noise than 10,000 people that are silent. So the thing is that we might feel that we're barely pushing the needle. I mean, we're just a few of us. We are not making a lot of impact, unlike people that probably are doing something that are not so novel are getting more traction. But I think the whole idea of the Gamgee Foundation is to be able to inspire excellence. And the truth about life is, you know, life is always, it's like a pyramid. You have the, at the bottom, you have everyone, most people at the bottom. But as you're going higher to the up the pyramid, it's shrinking till you get to the top. So what we're trying to do is, the idea is to blow it so that it becomes a cuboid, not a pyramid. So that's what Gamgee Foundation is trying to do. So we just don't want just few exceptional people at the top driving things. We want more exceptional people driving things. And that's what we're trying to inspire. That's what people that we're trying to motivate. And we believe that the most important, because if you look at the landscape, there's more emphasis on university students or probably even graduates and postgraduates, but we're trying to catch them young. You know, looking at secondary schools where people don't even have a clue. I remember in my SS3, you didn't even have a clue what you were doing. You just knew that you were going to write a WAEC or a JAMB and stuff like that. And fortunately for our speakers, they've been able to make great achievements, scoring very high in their JAMBs and getting very good admissions in courses that are quite groundbreaking. So that's a great achievement. And that's what we're trying to do, bringing them on board so that they just left the oven. So they're hot and probably they will know more things about the tips on how to really succeed in JAM and WAEC. So we welcome them and we're very proud of them. And we're looking forward to more great stories from them as they go to first semester and second semester onwards. So we hope that sometime, we might pass the torch to them and we would be very confident that the future is secured, God willing. So without much ado, I think I would pass it to our chief host, Dr. Ali Udala. Thank you.
Excellent overview. Today, our focus is going to be a discussion on the topic that says excelling in SSCE and JAMB. So our target today would be to ask our beneficiaries to give us their experience to share with our SS2 and SS3 students currently preparing to sit for these JAMB and SSCE examinations. We want to hear from them. We want to understand the hurdles, the road they took through success to get to this point. And our presenters today are no other people but our beneficiaries in person of one is Precious David Uchom, who is one of our beneficiaries for the Gamgee Foundation, who happens to be the cumulative overall candidate who applied for this Gamgee Finance in 2025. Precious is going to give us her experience on how she was able to achieve what she did up to this point. Our second speaker is going to be Aminu Awal Ahmad, who is also one of our beneficiaries, who has won the Public School Award under GAMG. And then our third speaker is going to be Khadija Ladan Ahmad, who is also one of our beneficiaries who has won the Ladi Shehu Prize for Girl Child. These three students will give us their history, will give us their story of how they managed to get to the point they are in, what they did to be able to achieve what they did. Not to waste much of our time, I would like to call on the first speaker in person of Precious David Chom to give us her insight on how she was able to achieve all she did up to this point. Precious, you have the floor.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, sir. Good morning to our listeners. So my name is Precious David Chom. I'm a beneficiary of Gamji Foundation. So I have some things to say to those who are going to write JAM and WAEC this year or any other year about some tips I used and some characters and other things which I was able to apply while practicing and reading for my examinations. So first of all, through my journey last year, it has not been very easy. There had been a lot of hurdles and some really bad things that happened, but we give glory to God that we surpassed all that. So as of last year, we all know that the JAM last year was not an easy one. It was very difficult, as most people will say it, but I'm very happy that through all our preparations, we're able to score really high scores last year. So first of all, I would like to encourage those who are aspiring to write on I have some few points written down here. So first of all, I want our listeners to start early. So if you want to write your exams, you have to start early. You have to prepare. You need to have 6 months at hand before you start. Like for me, I started about August 2024. That was giving me about 8 months or so to start preparing for my JAM. So starting early is not all about just, most people don't start early because of one reason. They procrastinate, and we all know that procrastination is the thief of time. So once you set your mind that this is the time I want to start, you have to put in your all to make sure that you start immediately. So by starting immediately, you have to set out your timetable. So you have to make your schedule of your time. If you are going to school, you have to make your timetable of your activities for the day. If you have things you have to do at home, you have to schedule them so that you'll be able to manage your time throughout the day, and you'll be able to reserve some time in which you have to leave for your reading. You can sacrifice about 2 hours to 4 hours daily, and it's going to go a really long way, especially if you get to start on time. So secondly, you have to use the right materials. You have to read your textbooks. You have to read your past questions. You have to have online apps, which one of them I have recommended here is I have some textbook which I would recommend. For me, I was a science student, so most of the things I read was New School Chemistry, Modern Biology, New School Physics. Then for my calculations, I used all-inclusive calculations in physics. So these books which I read were very helpful to me. And initially, while through my secondary school, I'm somebody that don't really like calculations. So I guess physics was my weakest point. So what I did was that each day before I start reading, I have to make sure that my mind is refreshed. And I always start with the subject which I don't really have my strength in, which is physics. So once I go in with my brain being fresh at that particular time, I get to understand it more easily, and I get to understand some concepts which I initially don't understand before. And it becomes way easier for me to understand the physics, the formulas, the laws, and every other thing inside. So you also have to practice CBT test practice. We know that JAM, yes, they provide CBT JAM mock for aspiring students. So that would be a very good help. You can also enroll in maybe other CBT centers or other schools which take JAM CBT mocks. As for my school, we offer that, and we had 4 JAM mocks before the main JAM, and it was very helpful because practicing those CBT, they tend to make you conversant with the way you use your computer and the way you get to answer your questions. It kind of make you already used to the format in which JAM will expect you to answer your questions on the day. So, and it also helps you relieve your fear on that day, because on the main day, you already know that you're used to answering this kind of things before. So it comes like another mock which you're supposed to write. So you are already used to it. So next thing I have here is you have to study the syllabus in which JAM give. So you can't just go and take your textbooks and say you want to cover everything page to page to read everything. We all know that we cannot really know everything inside, but the secret to knowing how to study is following the syllabus in which JAM give. So if there's a particular syllabus JAM give, I know the syllabus JAM gave for 2025 is the same syllabus they are using this year. So you have to go through it. You know, these are the questions, the topics that they give you that you have to read. There are the subtopics. There are some certain areas you have to take note of so that you won't just go blindfolded reading your textbooks and all that. So you have where you are going. There is a specific direction you are going through while you are reading. So also you have to, while using your textbooks, by following your JAM syllabus, I will advise that once you finish reading each topic, you have to go back and solve questions under that topic to make sure that, yes, I fully understood it, the concept and everything. So you have to read it, understand it, answer questions under that topic in the textbook. You can go back to your JAM Q&A. There's a way the JAM Q&A is, there's each subject and the questions that follow in different years. So you can go back, solve those questions, then gain your understanding. If you don't understand, you can go back and read and all that. So next up, you have to study at least 10 years of each subject in your Q&A. So like from 2025, you have to make sure that you study from 2025 down to 2015 at least. But if you have more time, you can go back and study down to even 1980 something where they started JAM. You can go ahead to read that far. At least, I guess the questions that were for JAM initially at the beginning, I guess they are more tougher than the questions we get nowadays. So if you get conversant with the procedure and the method in which they set their questions before, and you are comfortable in answering them and you know how to answer it, when they set the questions for the recent examination, you'll find out that it becomes more easier for you to answer because you're already used to the format of answering their most difficult questions. And you don't have to just answer it and cram the answers. You have to make sure that you understand the questions. And if there are certain areas you don't understand, you have to go back and consult your textbooks to gain better understanding. So I'm moving up to, there's a technique which I have that might help those who are trying to study for their examinations, which is called the Pomodoro technique. So this is a technique which I used while I was preparing for my examinations. So you can't just, if you set your timetable that this is the amount of time you want to read, like you say you read for 4 hours daily, your brain can get tired if you decide that you read 4 hours straight. So you have to create breaks in which you allow your brain to rest and think and ponder on what you have read. So you can set like you read for 30 minutes, then you rest. Give yourself a break of about 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, you will not go back to doing other things that are outside your schedule of reading. So that 5 minutes, you use it to think about what you have read and try and see if you can remember as much as you read. So that gives you more time to ponder and think. And it helps you realize that there are some things that you didn't get, there are some things you didn't understand, and there are some things that you don't remember. So it will give you time to actually realize that you have to go back and read again or try to solve some questions. Also, I have the second technique, which is called active recall. And this is when you read, you have to try to understand what you have read. And like, as for me, during my time, once I read and maybe I'm done reading, maybe when I go to wash plates or something like that, I'll be thinking about what I've read. And I'll be like, okay, I'll be trying to remember what I've read and all that. Then during that process, you get to remember some things. In fact, it even helps you understand better that kind of technique. So and there are some things, if you don't remember, you have to go back and read. So those are the techniques I have. Then as for the time, when the day of your examination, you have to take away fear, because fear causes forgetfulness. And I believe that if you know what you want and you're optimistic about what you want to achieve during your examinations, you have to prepare. And that makes you more, like, if you have your goals, you know what you want to achieve. That gives you more drive and it makes you calmer, knowing that you have studied and you have prepared well. So you have to go to your exam hall with one mind, without fear, and that will help you a long way. It reduces forgetfulness and panic. So also, I want to add in that before you even start your reading and your preparation, you have to talk to yourself. You have to set out your goals. You have to outline them. You say, yes, I have this time left before my examinations. This is what I want to achieve. So you plan before time. You have to make yourself, um, you have to tell yourself that I have to be intentional about this. It's about consistency over intensity. You have to be consistent every day in making an effort. You can't just wake up one day and just say you read like for 8 hours straight. That's intensity. So I believe in commitment, consistency is way better than intensity. So you have to like make an effort every day than being so overworking yourself when the time reach. Also, um,
Precious, you're out
okay,
of time. Can you just summarize and give us your final advice?
sir.
You're out of time. Can you just round up?
Okay, sir. Okay, so um, the journey is not going to be easy. I know for those people writing JAM this year, they have about 2 months left, but it's not too late to start. You can work.
No.
Okay. Yes, as for those who are writing JAM this year, it's not too late. You can start now. It's never too late to start. When as I'm giving you this advice, I want you to start immediately. Because if you keep saying you start tomorrow, tomorrow will come, something might come up. So you have to be dogged into what you want to do. And consistency matter. Thank you.
Thank you for this excellent story through your journey. We really appreciate this, and I really appreciate the discussion and the hints you have given towards your journey in preparing for your JAM and SSCE last year. And from that discussion, I was able to pick some important items you have stated. One was you really advise the student to start preparing early, which is important in order to be able to cover as much material as possible. You also make a point of making schedules. Just don't start your day randomly. Make plans, know what you want to do per day. That will help you achieve as much as possible in any given day. Also, you stated the importance of using the right materials. Just don't read anyhow, don't read any textbook, don't read any material. So focus on the useful ones, especially those recommended on the syllabus by JAMB themselves. You also added that giving priority to courses that are more difficult to you is important. Like you give an example, physics is a bit difficult compared to other courses, and you're able to give more time to physics in order to understand the formulas, the equations, the laws, and so on and so forth. That is really useful. And finally, you advise the candidate to be very confident during the exam day. They should be confident, they should understand that everything is all about confidence. When you are nervous, then you tend to get things wrong. Thank you very much for this insight. Thank you very much for these advices and story through your journey of success in passing your JAMA and SSCE. Now I would like to move on to the next presenter in person of Aminu Awal Ahmad to give us his own story on how he was able to get to where he is today. Mr. Aminu, you have the floor. Mr. Aminu, can you hear me?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you now, Aminu. You have the floor now.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good
My name
morning.
is Amin Awal Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa
My name
alaikum
is Amin
assalam wa
Awal Ahmed,
rahmatullah.
student from Al College Zaria. So, actually, the thing is not easy. Being part of a student that will going to write WAEC and JAM examination in the same year. So, you have to start the things early before everything. I started studying all these topics, everything in SS1 in the year of 2022. So I have been reading maths, physics, chemistry since from since from the year of 2022. So since from that time I start studying all the past question papers, the textbooks. I even start practicing mocks since that it is one. So before I intended to write the examination in SS2, when my teacher told me that I should wait to he even gave me advice to write the WAEC examination in the year of 2024. Then my father said, no, I should leave it till 2025. I will merge it with the JAM and the WAEC examination together. So all these things is not easy being scoring 300 plus and all these grades in WAEC. Actually, the thing is not easy. You have to fight for it because everything goes in this life doesn't come easy. So the first thing you have to do is understanding the importance of the JAM and WAEC. In the means that by understanding what is meant by the JAM and what is meant by the WAEC, then you can do you can is there you can know what you have to do. Before discussing how to succeed, it is important to understand why this examination matters. WAEC evaluates a secondary school knowledge, and determine readiness for the further education. JAMB serves as an entrance exam into the Nigerian universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. Together, this exam shaped academic and career opportunities. You can't go without one another, and even if you pass your JAM without being securing your work, it's, it's nothing because you cannot enter the university. And also, if you score your work without your JAM, there's still nothing. So you have to fight for the also. Um, I think performing well increases the chances of getting admission into the competitive course such as medicine and engineering. In these days, many people used to study. We have many applicants that want to study medicine and engineering. So what they have to do is that before being before you have choose what you are going to, you will have to understand the importance of this work and jam. So you have to read a lot for you to be to secure the admission into the institution. So now the next thing to do is setting your clear goals. What I mean by clear goals is that what you target. The journey to succeed begin with setting clear, realistic goals. A student must ask, what score do I need? Which course and university do I want? Having a target score provides direction and motivation. For example, a student aiming to study medicine may need a very high JAM score. Knowing for this helps the student understand the level of effort required. Goals act like a compass. They guide study habits, daily routines, and personal sacrifices. So the next thing is to create a study plan. Yeah, study plan. A major secret of successful student is effective time management. A well-structured study timetable helps students cover all subjects systematically. Without a plan, students may waste their focusing on their favorite subject while neglecting the others. So if I'm a science student, it's hard to see a science student focus in English. So if you want to score a very high score in exam, you have to balance the equation. You have to balance the equation by knowing all the four topics you are writing. Then now you have to um, allocate a good timetable. Allocate time for each subject daily or weekly. Include short breaks to avoid burnout. To avoid to avoid burnout and provide revision time for difficult topics. Yeah, difficult topics. For example, in mathematics, there's one topic they call bearing and distance. To me, is the difficult topic I have ever read because they can give you a question. It's written, so you have to understand it first before even drawing diagram, then apply the formula. So there is one question I have ever solved. You have to start solving the question from down, not up. You have to start solving the question from down, then up. Because if you start the diagram from up, you will never get it. So you have to understand the topic. The most difficult topic you have to make them very clear so that it might not affect you in your exam. Then understanding the syllabus and past questions. Yeah, this really matters. One of the smartest way to prepare is to study the official syllabus given by JAM or especially nowadays. So now the one they gave us for 2025, I know is the one they are going to use it now. The syllabus show exactly what topics will appear in the exams. Many students fail because they study blindly without knowing what examiners expect. So past questions are really powerful. They help students. You have to understand exam patterns, identify the frequent repeated topics, improve speed and accuracy, then reduce exam fear. Very important. Removing the exam fear. Um, some student is not about the deadline. It's just what am I saying? It's just the fear and the fearness they used to encountered when they are going to start the exam. Some may even fall into illness when the exam comes across, to they have to fight for it. They have to lower their gears and um, calm their hearts and fight for the exams. Then developing effective study techniques. Not all methods produce good results. Not all methods produce good results. Successful students use active learning techniques such as note making. Yeah, note making. Writing short summarize have main memory intention. And that's the useful of data. If you are reading, there are some points that you might forget, so you have to write them um, in the day or before the day of the exams. You have to read it before going to the exam. So that will help you to recover what you have read. Since for if you have read for almost 10 months, to with that data you can recover all what you have read since from that 10 months to now, because all that might the calculations you have done are still the is only just short theories, which are the main what JAMB usually asks. Just short theories. They can, in physics and chemistry, you can see something very simple, but with that they can make you fail. So you have to write them, and the day or before the exam you can still recover it. Then teaching others, yeah, teaching others, explaining topics to friends, strengthen understanding. Then practice tests. Yeah, nowadays there are some applications which can help you to start practicing on JAM. There is 330, there is test reader, and there is JAM prep. So all these applications can help you to know how the format of the JAM. You have to know the time. You have to know the number of questions being given. Um, you have to know even how they arrange the examination. So that one will help you to remove all those fearness, all the anxiety and everything. So maintaining good health and positive mindset. Yeah, you have to maintain your good health by eating good foods, by sleeping early at least 6 to 8 hours, and by eating your food at least 3 times a day. Should eat healthy meals and sleep for at least 6 to 8 hours, as I said. Exercise or take short walks. Yeah, when you are tired, you have to step either for 2 to 3 kilometers, then come back and continue what you are doing. Seeking guidance and support. Yeah, the students succeed alone. Teachers, parents, and mentors play important roles in guiding students. Asking questions when confused is a sign of seriousness, not weakness. Students should attend extra lessons if needed and seek advice from their teachers, learn from seniors who passed the exam successfully. Support and encourage make the journey easier and more enjoyable. Avoid exam malpractice. Very important. You have to put at the back of your mind that if you cheat, one day you will be caught. Yes. Hausawa suna cewa ranar dubu ta ɓarawo rana ɗaya ta mai kaya. Yes. So if you are building your academic performance with malpractice, one day you will be caught. Yes. True success comes from honesty and hard work. Examination malpractice may appear to offer shortcuts, but it destroys integrity and future economic opportunities. Many students face cancelling of results because of malpractice. Success achieved honestly brings confidence, pride, and long-term rewards. Hard work always pays off. Then the next thing is preparing for the examination day. Yeah, you have to prepare. You have to take bath at the night before the exam. If the exam is in the morning, so you have to prepare for it before the day of the examination. You have to check your body if there is. You have to check your body temperature, your anything that matters before the exam, so you cannot fall into illness in the examination day. And you have to go to the exam hall in the at time. Don't be late, because if you're late you might miss you must even miss the examination. My mock examination, the exam is 6, so I am at the place since 5:30 a.m. No, They haven't even started the exam since till 12 p.m. So we wait there and the result come out. I scored 333. So had been if I didn't come early, they might even start the exam at that 6. So intentionally when they started, there will be something. In conclusion, success in JAM and WAEC examination is achievable for every determined student. It requires goal setting, proper planning, consistent study, effective techniques, and a positive mindset. Hard work, discipline, and honesty are the pillars of academic excellence. These examinations are not obstacles, but opportunities to prove knowledge, unlock dreams, and step into brighter future. With dedication and perseverance, every student can achieve outstanding results and move confidently toward their academic and career goals. Success is not for the lucky, it is for the prepared. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aminu, for your guidance and story and history of how you approach JAM and SSCE. These are very valuable, and one thing for certain I can say is there are a lot of similar approach between the first speaker and Mr. Aminu. So I think these are really, really important, which I think I will emphasize again. One thing Aminu mentioned is starting early. This is in line with what Precious has said previously. So it's really, really important for any student to start their study as early as possible, give enough time, prepare well, and understand the importance of JAMB and SSCE. Know that you have to pass both to get into the university. Passing one and failing the other will not get you into the university system. I mean, also emphasize on putting clear targets. Yeah, you need to know your target. What do you want to achieve? Are you going for medicine? Do you want to become a lawyer? Do you want to be an engineer? What are the required JAMB score? Can you achieve those scores? You need to have that target. Having that target in mind is going to help you to achieve such goals. Well-structured study plan. You just shouldn't study anyhow. Make sure you have plans. Study this today, study that tomorrow, or study this for 4 hours and that for the other hours. Understand the problem beforehand helps you with the solution. That is true. So Mr. Amin also give an example of how some of the questions, especially in mathematics, are complex without understanding the word problem. Then knowing the solution is complicated. So you need to understand the problem itself. As the going says, understanding the problem is half the solution. So understand the problem and the solution will come forward. Effective study strategy. Teaching others also help you remember also. So as you practice, try to guide other people. In that way, you are revising. And finally, he asks or advise people to ask questions whenever they are in doubt or not clear, and to avoid exam malpractice. All these are very important tips and hints for anybody preparing for any examination, not just JAM, not just WAEC, not just NICO, but any examination. Thank you very much, Mr. Aminu, for this guidance and hints on how you were able to achieve high score in your JAM and SSCE. Now I will move to our last but not the least, our final speaker for the day, Khadija Ladan Ahmad, to give us her history or her story and the hints she followed in achieving what she achieved today. Khadija, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you clearly, Khadija.
Good morning, everyone. My
Good
name is
morning.
Khadija Ahmed. So with me here, I have a manual of what I will present today, inshallah. And I hope you can see my screen.
We can see everything, unfortunately.
Okay, let me go ahead to share the manual with you. The title of today's presentation is Passing UTME with Excellent Score by Khadija Ladan Ahmed, beneficiary of Ladi Shehu Prize. Our outlines are: number 1 is to believe you can pass, and 2 is to understand the syllabus of your upcoming examination. The third one is you have to study smart, not just to study hard. With here meets me, I also have some exam preparation tips, some encouragement on discipline and prayers. Believe you can pass. You see, passing UTME and SSCE, it starts with the right mindset. Like when you have the mindset to do so, you believe you can do so. I think that's the most important thing you need for now. The most important thing you have to start with. The second thing is you have to believe in yourself and your ability to succeed. You see, like courage carries something in you. When you have the courage and confidence to do something, definitely you can achieve it. Lack of that courage, lack of that confidence is a biggest drawback to whatever you want to achieve. Like without that confidence, without that courage, from that place, I don't think a person can move anywhere. He cannot move anymore because he have already, like he have put a deadline on him, like he cannot do it anymore. Then the next thing, you have to avoid negative friends and discouraging comments, especially negative friends. Like negative friends, I don't know how I would say it because I was once a victim of that. I once have some friends like that's such unserious type of friends that I don't even know how we come to become friends with them. Those negative friends, they influence you. Some of them, they can influence you to a time that you don't even know, are you even the one? Are you even the one living this kind of life? You don't know how things will be changing, how you completely divert from what you are doing, you completely divert from your goals. You don't like negative friends. Avoid negative friends at all because they are one of the biggest drawback to your goals. And discouraging comments. And some of these discouraging comments, they do also come from these negative friends. You feel like you are reading, they will tell you like you read too much, you do this, you do that, while them they don't read. Or you don't know what they have at the behind the scene, you don't know what they are doing, what their preparations are, and the rest. You have to stay focused on your goal of entering the university. The university preparations, the steps you have to go through before entering university, they are very hard. So you have to stay focused on those your goals, right from your JAM, your WAEC, your NICU, and everything. Right from the way you read, making sure that everything is intact, everything is ready. You are focused. When you have that consistency, you continue going, you make all the necessary things, you go through the hard ones and everything. Entering a university will be like a dream to you because it happens to me. The way people used to talk about to got admitted into university, to write JAM once, to do this, to do that. I don't even know how I sailed through all this. It comes like a dream to me. The next thing on my slide is you have to understand the syllabus. You have to get the official JAM, WAEC, and NECO syllabus on your hand. You have to know the topics you are expected to study. You focus more on frequently repeated topics. When you read JAM past question, you notice some topics. Like every year, there are some topics that every year, JAM is to repeat them. JAM is to set questions on those topics. WAEC will also, NICO will also. There are some topics like they always, most of the times, you see them as the number one theory question in your WAEC and NICO. So those type of topics, you have to focus on them very well. You don't read blindly, you read with direction. You know, this is what I'm supposed to read now. Tomorrow I will read this, next tomorrow I will read that. I mainly talk about balancing of the 4 subjects, which is very, very important. Your chemistry, your physics, your biology, your English. Focus on them. The same thing he said, that's English. It still seems like a minor thing to you. but you have to focus on it because I just, even among my friends that we did JAM lessons together with them, while some they are our seniors, you see someone with 90 something in physics, 90 something in chemistry. Then biology, well, now you can see someone with 40 something in biology and he's a science student. You still see him with 30 something in English. And before you know that 300 cannot be achieved. Would that desire JAM school because of two subjects, you lose it. Not minding your 98, 90, 97, 99, and also, so you have to like balance all the four subjects. Try as much as you can. For me, I've tried my utmost best during my time to balance my physics, which is I the most hardest subject I used to see during when I was preparing for JAM, and with consistency, frequent reading, and everything. I understand physics. I know physics very well within just 9 to 10 months. That was the duration I used to prepare for JAM. Chemistry also, I continue preparing for it. Biology, I like biology. It was like I used to say I like biology, but like biology don't like me. I used to read biology every day, every day, every day. But I don't know why. Up to now, even my JAM biology, I have 88 points, which like all my friends when we are preparing for JAM, they used to be like, you score 98 or 99 in biology. Means I don't know how this will happen. English, you have to try your utmost best. Have time for English. During my own jam time, I have 66 points in English. Although I used to like what my mind is telling me is that it's not that I did not read English. I read English actually. But the novel that Jam gave us, I think that novel during my own time, I saw 10 questions from that novel and I did not read that novel at all. I never knew it would happen to me like that. I never knew it would happen to me like that. I saw 10 questions from that novel. And I don't know even a single character in that novel. I don't know. This is I'll just have to kick. I just have to choose A, to choose B. This is how I just choose them. And 10 questions. I think each question carry even at least 2 marks. That's 20 marks. Some questions from that novel is to carry three marks. That's I think 30 marks. This is how that novel. So you have to read your jam novel. You have to know it very well because I'm a victim. I saw 10 questions during my jam time from that novel because I fall on the hand of people that used to say that novel, even if you read it, you may hardly see up to 3 questions or 2 questions, this and that. So it now happens to me. Then you have to study smart, not just study hard. You create a simple and realistic study timetable. You study daily. That's consistency. When you're consistent, before you know, you just get used to something. It will become part of you that in a single day when you did not read, your mind will be telling you what happened to you. Why didn't I read? So is this how the day will come and pass and I did not check any book? Your mind will be telling you all these kind of things when you are consistent. You have to read every day because sometimes me even after my post UTME, I still used to open book and just read because I just feel like to read for 30 minutes by that time because I already know what I'm reading. I read it plenty times, several times. So I will just read it and I will be happy because I read for that day. At least the day did not come and pass and I did not read anything. You practice past questions regularly. There's something my sister Precious said. You say that these are the years, the past question, these are the number of years that you cover. During my own time, I covered from 2024 to 2014. That's because that are the most repeated ones. Then I now cover from 1990 to 2000 because when JAM want to set hard questions, that's what one of my seniors told me. When JAM want to set hard questions, they will not set those regularly repeated questions like the years that just passed, the recent years. They look for the olden days. And you now, when you went to write JAM, you see them as this type of questions is JAM new edition, or like they said new questions this year, new throughout or what. But honestly, if you read those years past questions, they are the type of questions, they are the sample of questions those hard questions that you used to see in your JAM looks like. So I read those things and it's really helped me. It's really helped me because last year JAM, like people fell very well. People fell very well. They be like, JAM sets new questions, JAM do this, do that. But me, when I went to write my own JAM, the questions look familiar to me. And I know that it's those type of questions in the olden years are those type of questions that they repeat. The next thing, you have to ask seniors or teachers when you don't understand. You have to be asking. You have to be very, very curious. So ask is not a fault at all. In fact, me to teach me, I as an example, when you say you would teach me, like some people don't like even coming closer to me, even as a teacher. Because small thing like this, if I do not understand, I have to ask. You cannot leave me in darkness. And when I do not understand that point, I don't know my whereabouts. I don't know where I'm going to the next thing. So small thing I have to understand. Small thing I have to understand. I have to ask question. I have to ask question. I have teachers that teach me. I have seniors during our JAM lesson. I have seniors, those people that have written JAM. Like all of them, they'll have 300 and above points in their JAM. All of them are my elder brothers and sisters. I talk to them every day. I go to them. Sometimes we'll be like friends, but they teach me, they mentor me because when I enter our JAM lesson, my level of intelligence, what I know, you cannot compare it to others, my other classmates. They know far, far better than me. And so by associating with my seniors, those that have written JAM and the teacher, our JAM class teacher, so I got to learn gradually, I learn, I ask. Before you know, we have become like mates. What do you understand? I'm not understanding it. What do you know? I know it now. So you have to use your exam practice tips. You register your JAM early. You learn time management for CBT exams. I recommend 2 apps for you to be practicing CBT exam, your JAM CBT. The standard ones, like exactly how JAM used to set their own questions. You enter CBT mode, you write 2-hour exam. During my time, every Saturday, 2 months to JAM, I used to do this every Saturday. I'll practice CBT. 2 months to JAM. After I'm done reading, I'm done everything. Every week I will practice CBT and I'll see my performance. This week you write, you see your performance. Next week it may decrease because new type of questions, you see them in that CBT. Then you make corrections and everything. Next week it may lift up a bit. Gradually, before you know, it will reach a certain time that the points are no more increasing, no more decreasing. At that time, you have to put more efforts based on revision and everything. Then, and it's the points will start increasing step by step. Inshallah, when you follow these steps, you surely achieve your goal. You practice using a computer. You have to practice. You have to learn that because during my own time, I have laptop, so I don't mind going to any CBT center. But when I went to write JAM, the computer I was given is a laptop. So I use it properly. I don't have any problem with that. I have keyboard. But when I come for my post UTME, that day I almost cried. There are desktops in that place, and the only thing you can use is mouse. And I don't know how to use mouse at all. My stamp has started passing. I don't know my whereabouts. Even to put my JAM registration number on my post UTME desktop, I cannot. My neighbor, he insert my registration number. I've started the exam. Time is running. I don't know what to do. I have to ask someone inside that my time that I'm writing exam. He taught me how to be using the mouse. I carefully use it. Then I now finish my post UTME. I even run out of time because of how to learn. I have to take time to learn how to use that mouse, then to implement it and write my exam. You have to revise, but you should avoid last minute cramming. So to study for JAM, I think cramming will not help you. The only time I will cram something is when I've read it, I watch video, I cannot understand. And my mind is telling me that this type of question or this topic, I may see it in my JAM. Then I'll now force my brain. I'll cram it. That's the last solution I'm having. When you see me cramming something, I'm using it as my only last solution. Then here is the reading materials. I advise every JAMB candidate to follow this, especially the SS2 students who are going to write exam next year. You have time. What I do during my time is I used to read 4 subjects at a time. So I would take, let's say, 1 month or 1 to 2 months. I would say I will read Invisible Teacher, New School Physics, Understanding Chemistry, and Idodo Ume College Biology. The first ones, they are very, very hard. It's the foundation, as you don't know anything. So it takes me like 4 months before I finish them. When you finish them very well, so the other ones in a single month, you can do them. You can take another 4. In the next another month, you can take another 4. But this one, spending 3 months for them and knowing them is nothing. You should take your time and know them very, very well. You follow. This is exactly the same way I read mine. All these textbooks, I read them when I was preparing for JAMB. This JAMB remix, they are JAMB past questions. While all the Lamlet series, I use them in form of revision after I've read every kind of textbook I want to read. So I use Lamlet to revise. Lamlet is very good. It have JAM hints, SSCE hints, revisions. It's from Lamlet. It's when I read Lamlet series that I have to know that I have to go and read those olden days past questions to know what I'm doing. After I read past question and everything, these are the materials. You have to read them, go carefully through them. And the last thing I advise you on the matter of using your time very well, to have confidence and not to have overconfidence. Because when I was preparing for JAM, it was very competitive for us in our JAM lesson. Everybody's aiming for 400. While some have written JAM, like somebody will tell you, he have read JAM 2 times. This is his 3rd time. So this time, definitely, even if he's unserious, no matter what will happen to him, you know that you score that 300. Overconfidence is a deadly disease. You should avoid it. To be overconfident is something like once overconfidence enter your mind like this. So the cure for it is something that you can hardly find. So you have to be confident, but not overconfident. You use your time very well and you pray. You pray. All those exams, they need prayer. Your brain cannot carry it alone. You pray, you ask for your parents' prayers, you give sadaqah for Muslims, you fast. I and my friends saw that when we were preparing for JAM. I think every week, because I'm the lazy one. So they used to fast every week, Monday and Thursday. While if I fast on Monday, I will not fast on Thursday. If I fast on Thursday, I will not fast on Monday. So this is how I used to. You have to be fasting. You have to pray in the midnight. Read for some times and everything. I think this is all what I have for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Khadija, for this excellent journey of yours through success, like the 2 previous speakers. Again, I will say this again, there are a lot of similarities on the method and approach the 2 of you have adopted to pass your JAM and SSCE. One of your key points was to believe in yourself and your ability to succeed. So it's really important to, Khadija, if you don't mind, can you stop sharing your screen?
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
I'm hearing
Yeah, so,
to put the drive for the material.
okay, go on. Yeah, you were sharing your screen, and I think it's not safe for people to see the content of your other items. So Khadija emphasized in the need for you to believe in yourself and your ability to succeed. If you don't believe in yourself, then you can't do anything. She also emphasized on making good friends, those that have similar goals as you. So don't keep students or don't keep friends whose goals are not to pass, whose goals are not to study. If you really want to pass your JAM and SSCE, make sure the friends around you are students or are friends that are really willing to study hard like you to pass your JAM and SSCE. Understand the syllabus. Yeah, all the 3 speakers have emphasized on this point. It is really, really important for you to understand the syllabus, especially those provided by JAM themselves. Don't read blindly. make study plans, know what you are reading, don't read anyhow books, read those recommended by JAMB, WAEC, NECO, and some tips given by these speakers today. Study smart and not just hard. Don't just spend your whole day doing unnecessary things. Make sure you do the smart things that will get you to success on time. Ask questions when in doubt. When you are not clear about some concepts, don't keep reading to understand. If you try today, you try tomorrow, you still don't understand, please ask someone to save your time. And finally, Khadija recommended practicing using a computer, which will allow you to understand the pattern in order to avoid being a victim like her, who struggle to understand how to use a mouse during the exam day. These are really, really valuable. All the three speakers have given us a very useful hints on how to pass JAMB, WAEC, and NECO successfully. Thank you very much for this hints. We really appreciate your time, and now I'll give room for any questions. If our participants have questions to ask to any of the speakers, please, it's time to do that now. You have the permission to ask questions. You can raise your hand and I will give you permission to ask your questions. While we await people to ask questions, I think I have one question to ask, and I want to hear the advice from the three speakers. During my days, I am a very lazy student. I believe in luck. Khadija emphasized on fasting and prayer. So I believe my prayer would make me succeed, and I didn't read hard. Do you think that is a good advice, just to focus on prayer, fasting, and let luck guide you towards success? Yeah, any of you can respond, please. Go on, Khadija.
Okay.
Hello.
I think, Doctor, you're one of the gifted ones. So it will be safe for you to just sleep. I mean, and wish for the best. If us, just the average guys, try your formula, I think it would have been a different story. But I also have a question. I mean, I've tried to access the materials the last presenter, Khadija, shared. But when she was presenting, she mentioned some applications she used. I'm not sure I'm able to find them. Maybe I just scan through. If she can, please tell us some of those applications. I think that is a very good one. Since most of the candidates now, or some of the SS2 students that are preparing, or the current SS3 students have got like moons, they might utilize that. I don't think it's something that is known, because I remember we're looking at some of those applications, and most of the people we asked, all they did was provide advice on how to develop the app and how brilliant the idea was. So if we have something like this, I think we should be able to look at it, and if maybe we can come up with some improvement, or if it captures what our intent is, we can just share those applications. So if Khadija could please tell us those applications that candidates could practice with, or just write it at the chat box, I think that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you too. The applications I used during my time are: number one, my school. My school is an application I think every JAMB candidate may come across it. You have to subscribe for a 1-year plan. I think the subscription during my time, it was 3,000 or 2,000 something. This is where I used to make my CBT exam, and it's the same application I used to read years past question, because the JAMB remix I put in that drive, it stopped at 2016, I think. So from 2016 to 2024, even 2025, at now, When you subscribe to my school, you can get access to all the past questions, type A, type B, type C, type D, all the past questions. You can get access to them inside my school. And I also use it for my CBT mod exam. I used to practice it every week. I use my school. And the other application I use is UTME test driller. Test driller too, you have to subscribe. I think it's 4,000 or 5,000 during my time. So I use UTME test driller to study the olden days past question. Those past questions in 1990, 1980. So it's test driller I used to study them because it's an old app, and you'll see past question, different version of answers. Even my school, in my school self, you can study. They have study materials. You can watch YouTube videos. They have teachers that will teach on YouTube, and you can access them from your app. They have YouTube videos on past questions. This is how I study my own English past question. I watch YouTube videos on past question. The methods they use to their approach, different methods of approach in solving English past questions. I use my school test driller. You can also practice CBT in test driller, and it's very good. The other app is School NGR. When I read a topic, I completely understand this. Then I will now go to School NGR. School NGR, you don't need to subscribe. You just have to own your data. It cannot work without data. I'll now use my School NGR. Let's say I rate vectors, scalar and vectors in physics. I'll just search scalar and vectors. And then all the questions that JAMB once set from 1990 something to, I think, School NGR on stop at 2022 or 2020 something, and during my time, you will now see all the questions. You solve them, you read them, you make corrections and everything. So effective research of past questions is very, very important. And also, Sir Dr. Ali, there were questions that for a lazy type of person, when he pray, he fasts. Actually, God is not wicked. That's what my JAMB mentor used to told me. God is not wicked. So when you pray, you fast, and you not read. While someone he read, he pray, he fasts, God will have mercy for both the two of you. All of you will get what you deserved. The more you read, the more what you deserve. And the more you pray, the more what you deserve. But that prayer alone, unlucky, I don't think you can make it up with that. Thank you, sir.
Okay, doctor, you get what you deserve.
Thank you very much, Khadija, for the
thank you, Khadija. I mean, yes, as she was giving all of those tips, I've gone around. I've seen my school app. I've seen the UTME test driller. I think it's the School NGR. I was not able to find, but I think if I come down, I should be able to find it. But again, I've seen a lot. I've seen WIAC and NECO past questions and answers applications. I've seen one they called My School Jotter. I mean, there's a lot of this application. You see, we used to tell people that those of us that remains in the academia, we are always young, and it's because of some of these interactions. I think I wrote JAMB some 20 years back or thereabouts, and I think more than 20 years. But so some of these things, even though I tend to be maybe a stakeholder in the sector, but because I'm at the HE sector, not
Go on, Dr. Franklin.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because of that, you see, some of these things we still don't know them, and we're trying to, just like the president of GAMG, Dr. Aliu Dalla, stated, it was a cautious decision. We said, okay, we've been focusing on the universities because we are all there, but we realized that we need to, because at times when they get to the university, most of this they've already missed it. So that's why we're going back now to secondary schools and trying to get them from there. So thank you very much for sharing some of these tips. And if anything, these things you guys have exposed us to will spread the gospel. We'll try to encode it in some of the things we're doing at GAMG, just to prep the upcoming ones for their JAMB. But there's something very profound, Doctor, if I could just chip in about
Yeah,
all of
please
this.
go on.
Yeah, about all of these candidates. You see, the level of preparedness, and it reconciles this score they are having. To have 300 and something in JAMB, you can tell it's not cakewalk. Just listen to the amounts of preparations they were doing. I mean, the last presenter, Khadija, said she didn't do very well in biology. She likes biology, but biology, don't like her. So she doesn't know why she didn't score that much in biology. I was waiting for the hook, and then she said 88. And, and but that is really impressive. That tells you that we're at the midst of excellence here. And again, but there's this when you read between the lines of how they were preparing from Precious, and down to Ahmed and now Khadija, you can see the intensity, quite frankly. And you see they were busy going to these centers, they were having these things. I mean, Precious says she's good, she will be having chores, house chores, just trying to
Yes,
watch this stuff.
watching plate.
Yeah, but
And then
she's trying
recording.
to actively recall. Kapemta. So
Yeah.
kawai you now have kasamoni kushans kawai na chang, and he just kawai kagani miniki ga. So these things, I think we need to spread this as much as we can, so that people will realize the amount of preparedness you need to have to be able to get some of these things. And just look at the mindsets. They are talking about 300. Kawai. Nan labarin 300 Aiki, 300 and above Aiki labari. So that's some of these things. So this is really impressive. I'm actually very, very happy that you guys, do not only stumble upon the 300 and above. I always have it in me that it's difficult to just stumble upon a 300 score. Maybe you could do that around the 200 marks, but 300, you have to put in the work, you have to put in the effort. And this is a testament that result is quite oriented towards hard work, and grit. So thank you very much. But lastly, Doctor, if I just use this as my rounding statement, apologies, nothing not taking time. I just want to say, yeah, because yesterday I was having a conversation with another friend, and I told him that this is what we're doing, for some of the advice, and he advised is very good, but he said if they go on to university, maybe we should allow them, because I said to him we're going to be calling on them, time to time. And then he was of the opinion that would this not be distraction, or so he was basically asking me to justify that. But I told him a story about the CEO of NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is a company that they do a lot of things, but they are known for chips, these microchips they produce. So the CEO, he's a very important person, right? They are the global shapers. They move and shake and the directions of what is going on now globally. Now, in that book, he said something very profound. They asked him to define who a smart person is, what is intelligence, what is smartness in this 21st century. And the answers he gave, I just want to share them because I found them very interesting. He said, before now, some of those things that we think only smart people could do are some things like software programming, and some of these things, coding and the likes, that really, really smart people, you have to be really smart to be able to do that. He said when AI came in, that was the first problem AI solved. What we used to think is very difficult, we can't do it. All of these complex math problems and whatever that we traditionally used to think they are the most difficult things. He said those were the first things AI tried to solve. Those was the first things AI solved. Up to today, it's the perfect thing AI can solve. So you see, the landscape is changing right before our eyes. So the take home from there is, why is it important to have these traditional things we're doing now? I just want to tell you guys that what you guys are doing today, here now, is what would define you moving forward. The 300, 350, and all of these excellent JAMB scores you've got, it's a no-brainer. It tells someone that you can go through a formal process and emerge top. That is really good. But there are also those silent things that I want you guys to take note of and be more intentional towards them. You see, things around empathy, around communication, around teamwork, around confidence, around digital skills, around resilience, around adaptation. These are what is going to define you guys moving forward. And these are some of the things that will set you apart. As you progress into your various field of study now, into the university, you would meet people like you, right, that are very good, very excellent people. But the edge would be those people that, on top of that brilliance they have, they are able to quickly understand this 21st century skills I've just listed, but there are a lot of more of that. But some of these things, your presentation skills that you guys have done today, all right, by the ability to you to come forward, access this link via Zoom, do this presentation with us in the UK and you guys back in Nigeria from wherever you guys are now. So different localities, you're able to connect, able to present with confidence. These are what will set you apart. So be more intentional about them. Don't view them as something that is a waste of time. Yes, study hard, focus, that is what you want to do, but be also intentional about some of these skills. As you go through the university, make sure you inculcate them, because moving forward, these are what defines smartness. That teamwork, that confidence, that communication, that presentation skill, that resilience, that digital awareness, that adaptation. So all of these things, be very, very intentional about them. I wish you good luck and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Stanislaw, for this brilliant hints and final advice to our days. The time is still open for anybody to ask questions if they do have. Otherwise, I will call on our chairman to give us a closing remark, but I will give 2 minutes to people to ask questions if they do have.
Okay. So, thank you, Dr. Sani Sabo. I mean, that's a podcast on its own. I think we need to have you on a platform to just, bring out those things again and really beam it out to people. I think those are really insightful kind of anecdotes. So going forward, I think I'm really impressed. I'm really wowed by our presenters, and I mean, you can see the brilliance. You can see why they deserve the prize that they got, and you can see why, God will, and the future is going to be very bright for them. I can't imagine. I mean, as a 100 level student, coming on presentation, using Canva to present and all those things. And I think you guys are going to go far. I can see that. I can feel that, God willing, that you guys are going to go far. And there's a lot of opportunities because you're at that level. You're at the bleeding edge, as my brother used to say. You're at the bleeding edge of knowledge. You have all the advantage at below 20 years old. So you have a lot of things, a lot of opportunities. You start, and that's what Sani Sabo was talking about. The edge is not just about the brilliance; it's about the network, the understanding, the connection. Now, just an example. My brother, like in Imperial College, was telling me about a certain student that he studied together with, and she wasn't just brilliant, she was doing her PhD too, but she had all the connections. So she had already gone on internship at the United Nations. She has already done that. She has already worked on this big project where all, different diplomats. And so before she even graduated, a lot of companies were lined up waiting for her to come and pick up a job from them. So why is that important? That is important because that is not just about her brilliance. It's about her connectivity, it's about networking, it's about understanding those soft skills. And I think that is what you can be able to gain from a network like this, what we are trying to build. Because even right before you start looking for a postgraduate a slot, you've already gotten everything, your paper ready, just waiting to go. So imagine we're able to get you guys to a point where you'll be world class, just like our chief host and Dr. Sani Sabo really flying the Ariwa flag in the UK. We hope that you guys would even fly the flag higher. So thank you for the brilliant presentation. And I think at the end of this, I would like to officially launch the JAMB Prize for 2026 by Gamji Foundation. So hopefully very soon we'll be sending out some flyers about sponsors, and we'll be announcing the prizes for the different local governments that have been sponsored. Hopefully this presentation you've done will be able to help them on their journey. And I'm sure both you and us will be very proud to see the next batch of students that you're going to inspire in this your path of brilliance. Thank you. And thanks the host, chief host, for this brilliant hosting. I mean, you've done it spectacularly. You've been able to blend with Gen Zs. And you can see, I mean, I deviate, but you can see the importance of bringing the young bloods, because they're able to really see the things. Most of these things they are talking about, you don't have a clue about it. So if we were to present, to give tips on how to score high in JAMB and WAEC, we are 20 years, 25 years obsolete. So I think there's a brilliant idea from Gamji Foundation. And I would like to thank all the sponsors and the organizers that made this possible, and our prize winners for giving their time. I know they're very busy, 100 level, and we hope to hear good news from them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, my speakers, for this excellent job well done today. And thank you to all the participants. We hope to see you in another episode of our Gamji Foundation webinar series. Stay tuned and we will update you with any future webinar and any future sponsorship application as the chairman has highlighted. Thank you for attending today's webinar, and I wish you all the best. See you next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam. YouTube ya ake disconnecting ne. Kai ne za ka yi disconnecting YouTube? Saboda ya ɓata min ne a nan.
Watan Dokta, duk sati sai yanka kanyen nan.
Kasar rikici ne a yi azin. Nan na kamar YouTube din ya.
Kai ne host. Kai sai za ka miki na host, ni yana ganin shi sai in rufe. Ba zan iya ba sai kai ne host. Za mu fara cajin ka chairman. Duk da sadi sai ka kara mana minti 3 na rufe YouTube din nan.
Kwarai da gaske. I mean, wallahi gayan da muka magana da shi jiya, I completely bai fahimcin da muka dusa ba, because I told him na ce ranka daɗe, we are trying to expose these guys to global stage. Kai kana magana su je su zauna cikin ɗaki. Na ce